All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Sorry for the delay again, but we are here and we are ready to do some art. But first I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. So if you're interested in the game, I would appreciate that. That's the best way that you can help out the development here. The demo will be coming out in the near future, so if you're on the wish list, you'll be notified when the demo goes live. You can also join on Patreon. There's a couple of nice perks for the Patreon. One of which is if you subscribe at the sponsor tier for at least 1 month, you will get a Steam key for the full game when it launches, and your name will be listed in the Alchemortis credits. So if that sounds interesting, check those out. All those things are linked below. And what we're going to be doing today is continuing on with what I started yesterday, which is an update, a visual refresh of the card inspector. So yeah, we're gonna continue with that. Alrighty. Hello, Clickertail, welcome back. Monkey Software, hello. Good morning, you're getting so close to publish, it's crazy. Couple more months, yeah, basically. Welcome back, Monkey Software. Hello, VM Chora. Welcome to you. V, welcome back. Emerson, good to see you. So in the bonus stream that I did yesterday, I was starting to redo the card inspector art here. So I'm just kind of like blocking it out with just plain, you know, purple coloring. Just trying to get a feel for everything. I think it's just looking a lot cleaner, generally speaking. So obviously I'm going to need to do the shading and the highlighting and stuff, but yeah, I generally think that this looks pretty good. I do want to find spots to add more detail. I think one candidate for adding detail would be to, in each of these sections here, to add some like corner decorations or something, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. I have to figure out what to do down here. I may do something similar to the inventory down there where I just do like a strip of tileable. I mean, this is a strip of tileable pattern, but what I may do is something along these lines here, right? So just create like a tileable kind of pattern to fill the bottom or something. But yeah, so just to recap before I get too into it, the reason why I'm like updating the card inspector art. So this is what the card inspector looks like currently in the game. And this is just inconsistent with the other UIs. Like you could tell that this is just much different in quality than this one. This one feels very noisy. Yeah, just very noisy. It doesn't have the same kind of like visual language as this. With this, you'll notice that there's a lot more like negative space. Also, the stone pillars are a lot thicker, and generally there's just less, maybe it's not accurate to say there's less highlighting going on, but generally I think the highlights are just cleaner, right? This just looks like a mess. So the goal here is to get this more in line with how the rest of the game looks. And that just basically means, you know, using thicker pillars for the stone, using thicker decorative elements, right? So you can see that these little decorative elements in here are a lot thicker compared to like this, right? So basically just making everything thicker, making better use of the negative space. Yeah, that's basically it. But, you know, and then adding little detail elements like these little gems here as like little extra dividers just to splash some color in there. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not sold on these just yet, but we will see how it goes. But anyway, so that's the goal, and hopefully I succeed and it looks much better. But I don't want to change it too much. Like I want to keep the general layout and the presentation the same. I just want to give it like a visual upgrade, basically. So yeah, so what we're starting with is we're just going to use the plain purple. You know, we're just going to draw all the shapes in, get everything into place, make sure it looks good without the shading, and then we will go in and add the shading. And hopefully it looks good. Hello Ninja Link, good morning to you, welcome back. Good to see you. Did you see the new 4.8 Godot? There's a new thing about fonts and translation, maybe help you in the future when it's released. I did see that, yeah. The whole thing looks highlighted in the old one, so I get it, yeah. All right, so what is the next best thing to do? So I do want to do some kind of decorative element up here, and I may actually change this. I wonder if I should. Let me think about this. I mean, I may just take this style and just thicken it up a little bit. Yeah, I might do that. Now, the trick is getting this to... Is this an exact size? This is an exact size. Oh. Oh, is that stretching? I have no idea what's going on here. Wait a minute. This is 191 pixels. How in the world did that end up being exactly correct? How in the world did that happen? Let's see. This is also 191 pixels. I think some of my layout measurements are not as precise as I thought, but that's okay. We're just going to roll with it. So basically the inner content here So this whole inner content, if you exclude the boundaries, this is 191 pixels wide, which is a weird number, but it actually ends up working out pretty well. So we're just gonna ignore any imprecisions in the measurements. So this, basically, I just need a 191 wide texture that, so the one of the problems here too is that I need to make all the pixel spacing consistent. So this is 2 pixels of spacing here, right? That is inconsistent because we have 1 pixel of spacing there. And that's basically like, that's the only relevant thing, I suppose. But we want to make the lines and the spacing and the padding nice and consistent so that it looks beautiful. So actually, yeah, so it's 191. These black outlines are just baked into the texture. Well, it doesn't have outlines, but it's got empty space on the end of the texture. So we want to take a 191 wide image, and we want to basically make sure that it fills the whole thing. Okay, that's cool, that's good. So I'm trying to think about how I want to do this, because I think it would actually be better. So I have this panel container here is responsible for doing the sides here. I wonder if it would be like, I should make this more of like a capping thing rather than an interior thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have this pillar going up here. I feel like these pillars should terminate here. Yeah. I feel like the pillar should terminate here, and then this should be like a capping element that sits on top of everything. So how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I mean, this is going to have to exist outside of the panel container here. So I may have to do a VBox container on this. So I could put the capping element on there. So let's try that. Let's do a VBox container. Let's just get a feel for what that looks like. So we got the VBox container here. I'm going to turn the separation to 0. This VBox container needs to expand. Hold on, give me 1 second. I was experimenting with having folding disabled, but I don't think I like that. Anyway. Top decoration here. So we're going to elevate the, well, hold on a second. We need to change the layout. Expand like so. Okay, so the top decoration, let's just put this out here for now. Put it there. So this is actually going to have to change. This is going to have to change, but I think what I'll do is I will make it maybe just a little bit taller. We'll make this the same thickness as these pillars here. So we're basically just going to make it like a cap. I think that will look better. Okay. All right. So now we got to figure out how to do that. Also, it needs to be the exact size. So now I'm dealing with a different size here. So this size should be like 201 or 200. Yeah, 201. So we've got 10 more pixels essentially in the width. Is that going to bite me? I don't think so. So we could create something that's exactly 201 pixels. Yeah, exactly 201 pixels. Okay. All right. let's give it a shot. Do I want to do it in here? So it's 201 by 14. I may want to do 201. Oh, I'm going to run out of space. Really? That doesn't seem right to me. Did this get wider? Okay, well, I guess my measurements are wrong. That's okay. We're just going to roll with it. 201 and then 16. Okay, so we're just going to roll with this. So we'll create this. This is the top cap mask, I guess we'll call it. Okay, so this is what we need it to be. Yeah, it is a little bit wider, but that's all right. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, all right, so let's turn this off. I'm just going to, for ease, do that. We're going to create a new layer. And then let me just get this stubbed out. Actually, I want this to be... Sometimes I can't get like the... There we go. Okay, that should be perfect symmetry now. Yes, okay. Just curious, how many different fonts are you using in this game? If you're just counting the pixel fonts, I am using 3. So there's the default like font for all the body text or whatever. I have a header font, which is more of like a Gothic font. And then I have a third font, which is the font that's used for critical damage numbers. And the reason I'm using a third font for that is because I want the critical damage numbers to be more noticeable than the default damage numbers. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to just scale the font. Because if I scale the font, that technically creates mixels, right? That creates pixels that are larger per unit than the rest of the game. And that's just an inconsistency that bothers me a little bit. So by switching the font to something that is just like natively drawn to be thicker or bolder, I can use that for the critical numbers. But then I have 2 other fonts, and that's for the high resolution or readable font mode. So you could turn the pixel fonts off in the game, but if you do that, obviously I need replacements for the header fonts and for the body fonts. So all in all, it's like 5 fonts. And the other thing too is I'm probably going to need a 6th font for Chinese and Japanese. So I think there's a font that I can use that has all of those languages in one. But it's possible I may need to do like another font for Japanese as well. Hello, Mald Hajama. What IDE are you using? It's VS Code, but yeah, welcome. Good to have you here. 201 pixels can be divided into 3 and 67, but I don't think any other number. Well, we're gonna see how it works. I'm actually not sure how I'm gonna get like an even tiling here. So the thing is that it's not actually gonna be 201, it's gonna be whatever this interior part is, which is 191. Oh, look at that. I did it perfectly. So 191, can that be divided by anything? Probably not. I may need to fudge it a little bit. 191 is a prime number. That's great. Cool. 191 is a prime number. Well, I mean, it doesn't, I guess it, so there's an alternative thing I can do here, which is instead of doing a repeating pattern, I can instead do, you know, some kind of just amorphous design, right? Like I don't have to make it tileable. And that may ultimately be the thing that I need to do. But the thing is, like, I did want to make this look more like Gothic inspired, you know what I mean? Rather than just, you know, having vines or whatever. But I can, I mean, let's just try it. Let's just start in the middle and we'll just work our way out. So I do want to do, let me think about this. And I'm drawing this on the mask. Cool. Okay. So I do want to do, maybe I'll do something like this and then want this to be something like that. No, I don't need a bottom bar, for lack of a better word. I do feel like that needs to be thicker. So we're just going to copy this and we're just going to see how it works. It's too much. Okay, I'm going to have to do more precise selection. There's a way to do this as a brush. How to save brush. Ace Sprout. Press Control B. Open the brush drop down menu. Pattern align to destination. So I might regret this, but let's just see. That is not even close. Paintbrush. There we go. We're gonna see what kind of shenanigans we end up with if I just do this. I trust that it will be exact. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a little bit not correct, but I'll just cut this part down. And there we go. See, you can just kind of like fudge your way through the art and it will end up working perfectly. Don't worry about it. See, you don't need to worry about making it pixel perfect. Now I actually don't know if I want it cutting into the top part here. Oh, actually that's kind of cool. If I just do that. No, that's not gonna look good. Make it look like it's weaved in and out, but no. I think maybe making them more rounded though would be good. No, maybe not. We'll just go with that for now. And then in here, I think I do want to make this more of a cap up here. So we get rid of this, we do something like that. That is a little bit outside the bounds. So we may have to do something about that as well, but that's okay. Now the question is, do I want some kind of like additional... Do I want some kind of additional... little decorations in here? I mean, that kind of looks good. Let me just see what it looks like. I should probably just copy and paste this, honestly. That's not going to work either, is it? Let's just use my new brush again. Yeah, I actually think that looks pretty good. How do I switch back to the normal brush? Okay. Well, let's just merge that down, and we're going to call this top cap. File, scripts, export layers. You could put a line in the center and make it 2 or 3 pixels, then you would have a new number to try to divide by. 188 can be divided by 4 and 47, which will give you 2 chunks of symmetry on either side. No cut at the top. Well, we're going to see. I don't know. Well, we're going to see. What are we polishing today? I'm updating the card inspector art. Meeting time. We'll see how long this one takes. Welcome back, Kinyas, by the way, and December. Yeah, we will edit the presentation of this if it doesn't end up looking good, but we're going to change this now. Top cap. So there is a problem here. Okay. Right. So there is a problem, which is that there's a couple of problems. That is not perfectly centered, and there may not be a way to make that perfectly centered, so that's a little bit odd. But there's an extra space down here, so probably what I want to do is actually just remove this bottom line and then re-export that. And what I can do is I can remove, what I could do is, yeah, I could remove this gem here and put like a gem in the center there. I still don't know about these gems. I may change them, or actually, maybe it's the case that these just, because these have an even width, there's no way to align it in the middle. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need it to make, maybe I need to make it a single, yeah, I might just need to make it like a single pixel if I use that. Okay. We will consider that later. So there's our new top cap. It does have an extra space at the top there, but I think that's probably okay. Yeah, that's probably all right. The other thing I want to do is I don't really like how this is a straight edge here. I think I want to just make the natural outlines so that it just follows this nicely and doesn't have this extra space. I mean, it's not really noticeable because it dims the screen when you bring this up anyway, but anyway, that top part I think is going to look a lot nicer. So let's just inspect. Yeah, that's looking really good. I like that. So the other thing that we have to consider too is this bottom part. So I might just do the same kind of thing. Not the exact same texture, but make my own like bottom cap texture. So right now this is trying to be fit inside of like the content box, but this is treated like this top one is treated more like a cap, like it sits on top of the content box, and then the content box has all of its margins and everything. And so this one could be the same thing where I just kind of like make it its own like bottom cap or something. And the only reason that bottom cap is there is just to give, you know, because it's awkward if it ends here. It's just always awkward when like the text is like right up against the bottom of the screen. It kind of feels cramped. So just having a little bit of extra like dead space to give some breathing room. That's the only reason. Yeah, that's looking pretty good, I would say. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, I can't wait to shade this. This is going to look good. Now, so the other thing I want to try is adding, like inside of these content areas, just adding some kind of like decorative corner pieces. I don't know how detailed those need to be necessarily, but what I may do is I may just take a screenshot of this. And then let's go here. Yeah, let's just create a new, or let's open. Okay, so here, let's just see what I can do. Oh, those are different. Oh, those are different heights. Okay, well, that's fine. As long as it's symmetrical, it's not symmetrical. Right, because they're different heights. Okay, so maybe it would be better for me to do that. Oh, of course, my cursor's in the way. All right. Oh, look, Claude has an update. Claude wants to update himself. Damn bots. Fairy ring so cool. I'm glad you like it. The cornerstone as well. You know what I'm saying? Cornerstone. The cornerstone. I guess I don't know exactly what you mean. Let me find a simpler item. Here we go. All right. Okay, so this is perfectly symmetrical now on the horizontal anyway, or on the vertical, I mean. Then we need it to be perfect on the horizontal. Okay, perfect. All right. So what I'm thinking is we just do this may not be, hold on a second. What exactly do I want to do here? No. I may not have enough room for this. Because I don't really want to encroach on the text. No, that's not going to help. Ah. I want to make it like a perfect arc, but I don't know if I can set up the symmetry options correctly. Yeah, because it's not a perfect square. So if I wanted to do that, I would have to probably set up a perfect square and then I could do it, but I don't know, let's just draw something. Let's just start with something like this. Why is it so hard? Part of the issue is that these little posts are in the way, kind of, but let's just do this. Let's make that very simple to start. Do I want to bring this down like this? I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, this may not end up working the way that I'm hoping it will. But we'll see. So even if it was just a little decoration like that, maybe that would be okay. The problem though is that this is not going to be... You know, I've been trying to draw these things a little bit thicker. And that's not going to give me the thickness that I'm after. I wonder if doing something a little bit simpler may help. Let's see. Honestly, this may not work out, so I may just have to drop it, but I could also do something extremely simple like that. I don't know about that though. Hello, my leech, how you doing? Hello, Crudo, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, honestly, I just don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe if I make these bigger. That is not correct. Yes, okay. This is not correct either. I guess what I'm wanting is something a little bit more rounded. Like almost like this, but I just don't know. There's just not enough room. I could just do something simple like this. I don't know. Just experimenting. Maybe that works. Yeah, I don't know. I may have to pause on this and do this later, because otherwise I'm just going to be stuck on this. And there's plenty of other things to do. I mean, that doesn't look terrible. I think the problem is I'm trying to do something that has detail, but I don't have enough room to do that detail. I think that's kind of the core problem. Yeah, that's probably the core problem. mean, that kind of looks all right though. Maybe I'll just work with this and see what happens. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Okay, well, let's see. Let me look at my panels in here. Oh, this ability container, this also has a margin when it shouldn't. Got to get everything nice and aligned. Yeah, I don't really know. Get rid of this. Flavor text container. Okay. So it's already 1 pixel away. So yeah, I think what I would do is let's just take that and we'll put it in here. And then I'll just bring this over so it's a little bit nicer. Okay. We'll fill these parts in. We need to leave the outlines off though, because it needs to match exactly. So this is going to be called panel inner decoration. Okay, and then we will do what? Export this. Thank you, Stump Bill, for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. With the message Yummers. Thank you. So I actually have a panel theme already for this. Panel container card inspector. Let's edit this. Change the texture. It doesn't matter. So we edit the region now. Pixel snap. Bring that down. Bring that down. Okay. So if I change this from a margin container to a panel container. Oh, that's not going to work. Change this one. Why is there an HBox container here? What am I even doing? Get rid of this. Change this type to a panel container. So that adds a bunch of extra space, which we don't want. So I need to go to my style box texture here. I need to edit the content margins, I think, right? There we go. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Let's just do this. Okay. This needs to be changed. Okay. Anything else? Oh, up here? Right. HBox container. This, that. Okay. Uh-oh. We have an extra space here. Why is that extra space there? Separation is 1. I don't think that's accurate. Let's do 0 as the separation. There we go. Layout, container sizing, expand, name container. I may need to make this a little bit. Might need to do the same thing here. Okay. I think that looks nicer. You know, I can always change that at some point, but let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks all right. I think it looks okay. Obviously going to need some shading on that, but might be a little bit too big. What a great day. Hello, Pacheco Dev. Peter Cullen has died. I do not know who that is, but that is unfortunate. It's like CSS. Looks very good. Thank you. Welcome, Out 99 Horus and D-Rex, by the way. Four-Eyed Industry, welcome. Yeah, all the UIs are essentially like figuring out how to stack a bunch of quadrilaterals in the correct way, and then using the art to do visual trickery, right? To make it look like it's not just rectangles that are stacked together, but it's actually just rectangles that are stacked together. Right? I think we're just about ready to start highlighting. I do kind of want to change this though. I feel like I'm spending too much time on this, but I do think that this needs to be shortened up a little bit. It's going to be a little bit hard to understand what's going on here. Okay, let's just do this. Okay. Let's see. Actually, that may be a little bit better. Let's see. Why is this so difficult? Whatever, we'll just go back to what it was. I will tweak that up later. Okay. We put it back. It should come back to the way it was. Unless that wasn't... Okay. I guess I should have committed my changes here, but that's okay. Let's see what this does. What the heck? All right, whatever. We'll just leave it like this. I am ready to be done with this in particular right now. Oh, that didn't really do much, did it? Was that how it looked like before? Wait, it didn't update. I don't think it did. Oops. Well, that's all right. I'm going to redo it anyway. Make sure I didn't inadvertently delete anything. Okay, I'm just gonna do just commit this before I destroy something that I worked on. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with that later, I think. I like the shape of it, but I think I just need to tweak it a little bit. But anyway, so the remaining thing to do before we can start shading things is we gotta figure out what to do about the bottom, this part here. So again, I'm probably gonna do some kind of cap. And I think I want to have it, yeah, like a bar as well. So this is 15 pixels if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 15. So maybe we'll do something like 31. So like 201. Well, how tall is this one? That's 32. Yeah. So we'll do 201 by 201 by 31. I think. So let me just get that set up and then, you know, I'll catch up with the chat. I just got to do this while I'm thinking of it. Actually, we could copy this, duplicate this one. This becomes bottom cap. Because this is already the right dimension in the X. And if I just take this, oops, get rid of that. Take this, move it down. This should be 30, and we just need an extra 2 pixels. Okay, and then I can take all of this. Okay, so there's our bottom cap. All right, anyway, it's voice of Optimus Prime. Oh, gotcha. I've never been into Transformers, I'm sorry. I'm curious how you make the art scale with your containers. That's interesting to me, and one of the hardest things I've found to grasp. Aspect ratios, set container sizes versus hard-coded sizes. So I'm doing a mix of everything. Even in this little card inspector scene here, there are fixed sizes. So like this art here is all fixed size art. But then there are elements like these bars here, like these horizontal bars. These are tileable, right? So this one is interesting because it's using all of those methods, like things that are tileable and stretchable to variable widths, but then there are things that have to be like this exact size, like these things here. So the things that are the exact size obviously kind of determine like what the width of the drawer has to be. But then, you know, for the things that are like these vertical bars here or the horizontal bars, you know, they're just tileable, so I don't need to worry about, you know, because if I end up changing the container width, it's less work for me, right? So if I want to change the container width, I just have to address the things that are the exact size, but all the other elements that can be tiled are tiled, right? So that makes it a little bit more flexible. In the case of like my drawer UI, this is basically hard coded, right? Like this inventory drawer right here, it has to be 360 pixels tall, and I think it's 102 pixels wide. And that's because like I drew a piece of art for it, right? Like this art cannot scale to any different dimensions without becoming, you know, garbled, right? And it's the same with the alchemy drawer. But things like the board here, like this player board can extend to any size and it will tile very nicely. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's a case-by-case basis. And there are things I could do to these drawers to make them tileable, at least in the Y direction. Like I could make them variable height to some extent. They would still need to have a minimum height, but I could theoretically rework them a little bit so that they have an indefinite maximum height, but the width can't change. Like there's nothing I can do to make this scale in the X direction. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky, especially when you're doing like a pixel art game. It's like, you know, the unlock menu is the other thing. It's like there's no way to make this tile. At least I didn't draw it to make it tileable. So like this is just a fixed size. Too easy to get stuck on the little stuff. Come to you later when it's ready. Yeah. Hello, Trevor Verge's Art. Just deciding to listen to someone game dev this morning. Awesome. Welcome. 9-patch rect. Yeah. I use 9-patch rect. I use the built-in like theming 9-patch. So if you do like a panel container style, you could define the 9-patch within the theme itself. Some of the things are just, like I said, fixed sizes. So it's a mix of like everything that's happening here. Definitely feels like one of those I'm tired of working on those things that just itches the back of your head for hours. Yeah, that's true. Hello, I'll just call you Shab. Hello, welcome. There's a lot more to it, yeah. It's not just, yeah, I'm basically using everything that Godot has to lay out my UI. All right, I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we need to do the bottom decoration. So we have like a little bottom panel that needs to be done. So we'll do that, and I will BRB in just a few minutes. Okay, let's continue on. When it comes to pixel art 2D games, don't quite understand screen scaling, making sure you design every asset viewport for any aspect ratio. Oh, well, you see, the thing is, I'm not doing that. The game is forced to 16:9. So that's a big part of it too. Which, you know, maybe that's not a good thing, but I don't have the time or energy to make it perfect on all the screen sizes. Okay. Oh, this needs to come down as well. Is that right? Oh, this one doesn't. Oh, I didn't make this one come down. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, I think I should do that actually. Okay. We're gonna have to re-export that top cap. I think I also want in this layer here. Oh, yeah, in this layer here, I want this. And then I want another bottom cap here. Okay, so we've got that little panel in here now. So now the question is, what kind of pattern do I want to do here? So this is our bottom cap. I want to do some kind of pattern here. I mean, I could just do the traditional vines pattern, you know, just do a bunch of freeform vines. I may do like an arch kind of theme again. Let's see. Make it look kind of like a sinister kind of arch. So I wonder if I do Control B. Is this going to work out perfectly too? It is not. I kind of like that though. It almost looks like a forest of some kind. Let's let's just lean into that forest aspect, and we'll do like a tree here. Some kind of a tree anyway. That doesn't look much like a tree. This is not working out the way I wanted it to. Let's get rid of that. That's not quite going the way that I wanted it to either. So I guess we're abandoning the tree idea. I don't really like that either. We're just doodling. I get that. That's where I landed with my first few projects too. I really wanted to learn how to build for a wide variety of devices screens, but it vastly increases the complexity. Yeah. Yeah, to a certain extent, like I just don't know. Because that, yeah, once you start supporting different screen sizes, not only do you have to worry about the asset sizes, right? But then you also need to worry about the UX too, right? So like if Alka Mortis was played on an ultra wide monitor, the way that it's currently set up is like the boards would be so far away from each other, like on an ultra wide monitor. So then you got to figure out how to do that. And then it's like, well, the inventory drawer comes in from the side of the screen. So even if I like centered everything else in the ultra wide, like your inventory would be way out here, right? And it's like, what do you even do about that, right? Now, I'm sure, like, you know, there's a solution to every problem, but at the same time, like, I'm just one guy, you know? I'm just one guy. I'm not particularly good at UX. And it's like, you know, in an ideal world, yeah, I would love for people to be able to just play the game in whatever resolution monitor they have, but I just don't even know where to begin with supporting that. And even if I did know where to begin, it would probably take like at least an extra month of development time. So, you know, it's just one of those things where the hope is that I just make the game good enough that people forgive the fact that it doesn't perfectly support all the different monitor sizes. I think that's basically the goal. Because, like, that's the thing, too, is, like, people will forgive a lot of problems in your game if it's a good game otherwise. Actually, I have a different idea, and this might actually be really difficult, but I want to see if I can draw a little statue in here, actually. No, I didn't want to do that. There we go. I don't think this pose is working. The head is still too big. Yeah, that's actually looking not too bad. The problem is, yeah, I just don't think this pose is working that well. What if I mean, I could draw it more head on, maybe. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, that doesn't look quite right, does it? That looks a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. Oops, I left the chat on screen too much. It's a pixel game, so it shouldn't matter as much. If it was 3D game, it would be different. Yeah, that's true. Ultra-wide monitor people don't even open stuff on full screen. Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully it's fine. Did I take the chat off the screen this time? I did. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. I don't know if that's going to look all right, but just go from here to here, Control B, and I guess I should have turned on this symmetry. Also, I need to do this. That doesn't look too bad, actually. That does not look too bad at all. Still got some spaces to fill in, but it's getting there. And then this interior one here, I wonder if I should do like something alchemy related in here. Like I'm almost wondering if like, would it be a good idea to do some kind of flower in here? I always struggle with like drawing roses. Roses are freaking difficult to draw. But maybe I can do it. It does not look much like a rose. Well, I don't think that's going to work, but we'll just set that aside for now. The other thing I could do, I'm just trying to think of like, what are the themes that I'm using quite frequently in this game? So obviously there's alchemy, but the other thing I'm using quite frequently is tentacles. So I wonder if like I could just put like a tentacle in here, or a series of tentacles maybe. Just trying to use like the themes or the motifs if you want to be fancy. So if I've got this like symbolism everywhere, I mean, the main thing is that it's just going to make it feel more consistent, if nothing else. So I could do something like this. I'm not really happy with this part. It's a little bit too flat on that side. Actually, that's probably okay. I don't know. Does this work? I need to more narrowly do this. What is going on here? Okay. Ah, fudge. The symmetry options. Okay, B. And then I gotta do this again. Okay. Oh, I lost it again. What is going on here? Sometimes I just don't know what's going on with Aseprite. Okay. Give me the brush, please. B. Okay. M. This. Turn on the symmetry. Switch back to B. I'm just realizing that those have been flipped. I don't know if I want that to be the case. No, I think I want them... I mean, I could alternate them potentially. Maybe I should do that. So if I take... Let's see. Let's flip this one. Flip this one. Yeah, I don't think that looks too bad at all. All right, before I do any more work on like the detail of this, I kind of don't like how empty this part is, so I may just add like a couple of extra branches or vines or arches, but that little guy's a cool detail. Thank you, Sacrificial. After how much experience with game design Godot did you think you were ready for bigger projects such as this? That is a good question. I think, yeah, basically it's kind of weird because like you need experience to know what is within your capability to create in a certain time frame, but the only way to gain that experience is to try to create something that you think you can create that timeline. So it's like there's like a chicken and egg problem. But you know, you start with a game idea that you think is going to be reasonable to do, and then you discover all of the hidden complexity that you didn't think about that blows up your timeline, or it becomes a little bit overwhelming and stuff. And I don't really know if there's a way to get to a point where you can accurately judge what you can work on until you've like tried and failed to work on some things, if that makes sense. So, I mean, the typical advice here is like, however small you think the scope is, or however long you think your game is going to take, like just multiply that by 2. So if you're like, oh, I have a really simple idea, it's only going to take 6 months to make. Now multiply that by 2, it's going to take a year, right? But yeah, I don't know if there was ever really a point that where I was like, okay, I'm experienced enough now, I can make a big game or a bigger game. I think I always kind of like embarked on the ideas like, hey, this is just going to be a really simple game, and then it ends up not being simple, but I just stick with it anyway. But for Alka Mortis, like Alka Mortis 2, this was a problem. Like this was supposed to be a game that was going to be really easy to make. I was only supposed to do it for like 6 to 9 months, and we're at a year and a half of development. So it's like, yeah, it's not something that I personally have a good handle on yet. I mean, that's more of a problem of like just managing this scope, I guess. Not necessarily an experience problem. But I guess it's a long-winded way of saying I don't know exactly how to answer your question. But I don't know, maybe some ideas in there help. Potion bottle? That could have worked, yeah. Maybe a smaller rose with a stem would be more readable. Yeah. Roses are just hard. Honestly, I've been having a lot of problems with my keyboard because I constantly just misclick everything. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 30 minutes, they say, welcome back, Ninja Link. The action time has been more than worth it, I think. Yeah, and that's the problem, too. It's like, Alka Mortis didn't end up ballooning in scope because I just couldn't manage the scope. It ended up ballooning in scope because I was like, oh my gosh, wait, this game has so much potential. And I would have felt bad if I had said, well, I'm just going to keep this scope. Like, I'm going to release this game in 9 months no matter what. But then if I had released the game after 9 months and been like, you know, there's so much more I could have done with it. And it's not just like, oh, it would have been nice to add this. Like, no, like there's so much like unexplored design space that could have been explored. I think I would have felt bad about that. So I made the decision instead to just say, well, I'm just going to take the extra time then and like really flesh the game out and really try to explore like all of the ideas that are here. And that's what ended up making the game take longer than I had initially planned. And that's the hard thing too, right? It's like people say, oh yeah, just come up with a small game idea, work on it for 6 months and throw it up on Steam and then move on to the next game. But it's like, what happens if your game idea that's supposed to be done in 6 months is like, you actually think it's really special and there's actually something there? Like, you know, like this is a creative discipline. It's an artistic discipline. I don't think coming at it with a pure business perspective of just like stick to your deadline and release it is like the entire story. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's possible that Alka Mortis will not do that well and will end up not being worth the time that it took, but I actually don't think that. Like, even if Alka Mortis doesn't sell well, like, I'm going to be very happy with the time that I spent on it. Like, I'm going to, whatever happens regarding the sales, I'm going to be happy with the game. Anyway. Let's see how this looks. Look at what you've learned in that year and a half, how quick you are with these sprites, assets, everything you learn in Godot. Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. Like I said, no regrets, not even a single letter. Not even a single letter. Oops. That looks pretty cool, actually. I like how that turned out. Yeah. It is missing... Oh, it's missing a top border, though. Right. Because I made this part of the texture. So I actually do need to go in here. And at least for this top part, I need to add that. I need to get these sprites under control, because like there should probably be an outline there and there, but that's going to change the sprite dimensions. But I'm doing something weird with this, which I want to correct. But I'm doing something weird with this, which is I have this root container here, which is just a black background. And then what I'm doing is I've got a margin container here that just offsets everything by 1 pixel. So I basically just get like a 1 pixel outline for free. But I don't want that, because like I actually don't want there to be an extra pixel here. I want this to be like cut this pixel out and have the outline follow the asset actually. That gives it a little bit more shape. I mean, you can kind of see that with... Oops. This is especially noticeable with like this drawer, right? So this alchemy drawer here has like a non-uniform edge here, right? And so I actually went through great lengths to make sure that everything to the left of the vine is filled in and everything to the right of the vine is only outlined by 1 pixel. Because I think that just adds like a good amount of like organic feel to it. And so even though this one is a little bit more straight edge, I just wonder if like cutting this 1 pixel out and making it follow the contours of the actual texture would just give it that little bit of extra depth, you know? So I got to figure that out. That's going to be one thing that I do, but I think that's basically it for the art. Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. This is 2 pixels away now. Okay. Is that a problem up here? No. What do I do about that? I wonder if I should... Let's do this. Just basically delete this. Fill this in there. Do that instead. Let's see. Are you going to do the same for next game, or do you lock in the release date? I don't know. I've been watching you know for a fact you learn a lot of new things with Alchemortis, so it's not a waste, you self-improved. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah, for the next game, I mean, I have an idea for how the next game goes. Again, I'm going to try to approach the next game with the idea that it's going to be done in like 6 to 9 months. But the problem, again, is like, what happens if it ends up being a really cool idea and like there's all this space to explore? Again, I'm not going to feel that great if I just rush the game out the door. I guess, you know, the other option too is like early access is an option, right? So get the game to where it's playable and where it has obvious like future potential, and then launch it in early access and then just follow up with like all these bigger patches to get it working, right? or to get it feeling good. Okay, so yeah, we've got that now. So what if I do a... Okay, there we go. Perfect. That works. And then this one... Yeah. So now this is aligned. Is it aligned? No, there's 2 pixels here now. Ah. Okay, I may have to do something a little bit nasty here. Let's go back. I might just have to do something nasty. The other thing too is I do maybe want a gem there, so maybe... Wait a minute. Sorry, it's just hard to keep track of everything in my head. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry for the back and forth, but I just got to figure out what I want to do here. Okay. Let's go back to this style. This may actually just be as simple as... Yeah, I think I just need to delete these, if I'm not mistaken. If I just delete that, shrink it a little bit, then it should work. Okay, there we go. So now we've got, yeah, now we've got, well, that's 2 pixels there, but that's okay. But there's 1 pixel here, 1 pixel there. And then there's 2 pixels on the bottom here, but that's fine. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that with these parts here. All right, let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks. Ah, that's cool. I like that. So it obviously looks a lot smaller in the game. But yeah, that's cool. So we've got this little top detail up here, which is like arches. Just gives a little bit of padding so that this is not up against the screen, and then this fulfills the same purpose, right? It's just a little bit of extra padding. Okay, awesome. So I think the art is basically done now. So the like block out of the art. So the next step is to just shade everything, which sounds like it's going to be difficult, but I actually don't think it will be. The most difficult ones are going to be these parts here, this upper part, and then this bottom part. But the stone parts, those are just tileable. So I just need to like shade them once and then they'll be good to go. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Oh, I want to redo these gems as well. I want to make them 1 pixel down the middle because I think they're slightly misaligned, especially up here. But yeah, that's looking good. I like that. "100% without a doubt, undeniable truth. I got the voice generator partially working yesterday. Very nice. Trying to combine it with sound bites and shifting pitch up or down based on the gender of characters. But I abstracted everything to where my cutscene manager, I can literally type a script. Character name say. Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's cool. Trying to create a voice profiles where it'll be like an enum referring to happy, angry, and play the animal. Okay, nice. Yeah, so you'll have like pre-configured profiles that have all the like the numerical settings that you need to recreate the exact emotion you want. That's pretty cool. All right. I'm super happy that I'm doing this because this card inspector was bothering me for a long time. Now it just looks, I don't know, it just looks so, wait a minute. Oh, we're good. It just looks so much cleaner now. Without, like, it still retains a lot of the original, like, little design elements of the first version. But, yeah, it just looks a lot cleaner now, I think. Good. All right. Whew. Now I gotta shade everything. Now I gotta shade everything. I'm realizing that this stone horizontal, I may want this to be longer, so it has more shading detail. Okay, anyway. I don't know if I'm going to want to take corners out of that, but... So I'll do something very basic here first. The other thing I'm not sure about... Okay, yeah, I am using red pixels. Okay. All right. I don't know how this is going to tile, but let's take a look anyway. We'll see. Do I want to do something like this instead? No, I don't think so. And I could add little... No, let's just keep it relatively clean. Okay. What is that? Oh, did it? Oh, I must have a tiling problem. Oh, actually, I know what the problem is. I think I need to edit stone horizontal. I think what I want is I want to preserve up to this point. So if I go to my edit region, I think I just want to bring this over like that. So it's not going to tile these parts. Yeah. Look at that, already looking pretty good. Just that one change now. Already adding a bunch of depth to it. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Okay, we could do the vertical one next. Now, the one thing that I would like to do, and it's not that big of a deal, but since these are all the same length, they tile the same way. So this is basically just a carbon copy of everything else. So I think what would be nice is if I could... Is there a way to flip? Is there a way to flip it? Let's see. I can change the offset transform scale to -1. So I could flip it. The other alternative is to actually create multiple different texture variants and then just like swap out this texture so that it just like maybe it just chooses a random texture when it gets instantiated. That would be the other way to do it. I think maybe the easy thing to do for now is to get a reference to this 9-patch rect, and we're going to turn on, well, yeah, let's just do this real quick. So let's get a reference to the 9-patch rect. And then in ready, we're going to say if matthewtil.rng.rand sign. Nope, that's not going to work. Any day now. So now hopefully, yeah, so you can see that they're not quite the same now, right? So just adding that little flip helps. So I'll just keep that in place. It breaks it up a little bit, makes it less obvious that it's the same texture. Cool. All right. Shade stone horizontal. Actually, maybe I should figure out the outline stuff before I go too deep on shading. We noticed you have some unused printers. Would you like to remove them? What the hell? I mean, what the heck? Okay. All right, I'm going to take another quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, actually, before I go into shading, I want to figure out the outline stuff here. So, yeah, I will, well, actually, I wonder, it might be actually relatively easy just to test this, because what I could do is I could change, well, anyway, we'll figure that out. I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we'll continue on. Okay, let's figure out the outline stuff. Oh, I see. Wait a minute. Is that the wrong panel container? Oh, here's the root container. Oops. Hold on a second. Root container. So this is the one. What am I even doing here? What are we even doing here? Self-modulate. Right, so the root container is the thing providing the background, but I can do that with something else, like a color rect. What I'm mostly interested in is like, yeah, so where did the outline go here? Is that being clipped? This does not have clip contents on. How is that happening? Oh, the scroll container has clip contents, right. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. The scroll container has clip contents. So actually, the scroll container needs to have a margin container. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think the scroll container needs to go here. And then that margin container with 1 pixel needs to be like that. Yeah. Did that break anything? No, it doesn't seem like it did. That's good. So this root container then, I don't think I need that. We get rid of the root container. This, oh, maybe I do need the root container. Hold on a second. Yeah, we probably want a, I'll just do a second margin container. Then we'll put the scroll container under there. Get rid of the root container. Oh, I think I need that though. I need the name because I think this is what gets animated. So this root container now. Where am I at? Layout, container sizing, shrink end, and fill, and then this scroll container. No, this margin container. Expand there. Okay. So if I add a color rect, so that puts all that back. So here's the problem, right? This top decoration, shoot. Oh, there's a couple of problems here actually. One problem is that there's an empty space here. How am I going to get these outlines to work the way that I want them to? How am I going to get that to work? So this is going to need to grow by 1 pixel in the width because I'm going to need that. An outline there and there. Okay, let's just solve these problems one at a time. I think this VBox container, this actually needs to move. Yeah, this is going to take a little bit of disentangling here. Let's just do a VBox container here. Okay. We're going to need to disentangle all of this. Okay, so the top container goes first. Okay. Then the bottom container will go there. Bottom decoration. Then this margin container slots right in there. Okay. Now this margin container has top and bottom margins, but I don't think that's correct anymore. I think top needs to be 0 and bottom needs to be 0. Okay. Good. So now we need to redo the top. Not redo, but we need to get that top cap here. And basically, we just do the outlining that I need to do. So this, like so. And then I think I actually just want to bake in that so that it's flush against the top of the window. So let's export this. And now that's very nicely aligned. So you see I've got the edges now the way that I want them. Yeah. I do want to fill out, well, maybe I don't want to do that actually. I could hack this. Can I hack this? I mean, I could just change the offset transform of this and I could say, wait, now I'm wondering, hold on a second. No, it does, that does need to be there. Okay. So I can't really hack it that well. That's okay. I basically need this right side to be a solid color. Because I don't want to leave a 1 pixel gap between the edge of the window and whatever's behind the drawer. So, I mean, the simple way to do that, I think, I just create another color rect. This is a little bit weird, but we do transform, oh wait, no, this isn't gonna work either. No, yeah, I keep going back and forth. I'm gonna bake the color the edge color into the bottom and top textures. And then this color rect, this one here, we make it a custom minimum size of 1. Then we change it to shrink end. And then we we turn on the offset transform and we move it over. Okay. I have no idea if that's good or not, but that's okay. So we're gonna say like right edge, color rect, background color rect. Okay. Let me just run the game and see if everything works as expected. And it broke. We are missing what? Root container. Oh, root container is a margin container now. Thank goodness for that offset transform stuff. That is so useful. One of those things where you wonder how you went so long without it. Now, one thing I don't like about this now is that the scroll bar is like an extra pixel away from everything. But that's, oh, it's not expanding either. Okay, why is that not expanding? Oh. Right. This VBox container layout, container sizing, expand. Okay. Check it out. That's looking pretty good. So I need to fix the bottom one. The bottom one's misaligned now for the same reason or for the similar reason. So let's go to the bottom cap now. And I'm essentially just going to do the same thing here. I need to outline this part and then outline this part. Oops. But I'm going to bring this outline all the way up here. And then we can save that. Export layers. And hopefully that will restore it to its former glory. Oh, and now I've got an extra bottom pixel, right? Okay. So this is not really, I mean, this is not really a super important thing to get these edges nice and clean, but it just looks nicer, right? Like it's, instead of just being a solid straight line, it's actually following the contours of the textures. Let me just make sure all the layout stuff is correct. 1 pixel, 1 pixel. I believe that's still correct as well. Okay. If you sold Godot theming and UI course, I would buy it. Welcome, Ned Stark. Ned Stark's neck. Yeah, there's a lot of little tricks and stuff. Mostly it's just like, especially if you're just gonna do like pixel art stuff like this, mostly it's just about making sure that all of your measurements are correct, that everything's gonna fit nicely together. That's the hardest part, because if you're off by 1 pixel and you're trying to get like a very symmetrical thing going, that's not fun to deal with. There we go though. It's looking pretty good. And then for things that don't scroll, yeah. This is already looking so much better than the old one. So for context, let's just take a look at this. So for context, this was the old card inspector art. That's the old card inspector art. And this is the new, not yet fully shaded card inspector art. So we can put them side by side. I think it's a big improvement. What do you guys think? Obviously the shading is not done, but when the shading is done, I think it's going to look a lot nicer. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to... The skill has definitely leveled up. Excellent. Okay, update. All right, but that's going to be it for the stream for today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it. If you're interested, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. Again, maybe I'll stream later today. I'm going to go run some errands this afternoon. But if I stream later today, I'll put a notification in the Discord like I usually do. Otherwise, if I don't come back today, I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, the usual time. Hope you all have a great day. And thanks again for your support. I'm very excited to get the game finished and out to you all. But yeah. All right, that's it for now. Bye-bye, everyone, and talk to you later.